Welcome back everyone to Crusader Kings 3 as we continue on this playthrough trying to unite the nation of Scotland and beyond. It is 1034 AD. We are in the middle of a peasant revolt which I'm about to deal with. It's down here in our French holdings. So we're going to go ahead to our rally point here. We're going to raise our army down here in France, 3,400 men, and go over and crush this revolt as quickly as we possibly can. Shouldn't take long. Alright, that was a war that we were kind of tangentially involved in. We weren't really involved in it because it was one of our allies. So that's not a huge deal. We got to go over and hit this peasant uprising, which is now actually outside of our territory, but we can still hit them and fight them. There we go. Valuable hostage captured. War is over. Put it down. Disband the army. And now we can get back to the governing of the kingdom. So I have a 25-year-old sister who is not currently married. We're going to invite her back to court. I'm going to take a look at my other siblings as well. She's actually married to Duke Martin, so nothing we can do there. And then my 38-year-old sister here. So at least we'll get the one sister back to court, and then we can marry her off. My son and heir Christopher is an unusually calm child. When others play their wild games, he often withdraws to some silent corner. He's going to gain the trait pensive. He is my only son and heir. He's 3 years old, so we need to keep that kid alive at all costs. I am only 23, so just as kind of a reminder of where things stand right now with all of this, let's look at our house. Look at our dynasty tree. Here I am, Petty King Christopher IV. I do have those siblings, and then I have some nephews, but they are of a different house through my sister. So there really aren't a lot of other Stewarts out there right now. The house has gotten pretty thin these days. We got a son over here, way over here, a male that could be useful in some way. We'll probably invite him to court at some point. Okay, let's find a spouse for our sister. I'm going to start by looking based on alliance power. The Gaelic Band of the Mon. We've got the County of Brabant, Sardinian Band. Not a lot of great options out there. But the house is so small right now, honestly, I'm looking for a matrilineal match. And we'll go based on prestige gain. Got somebody in the House of Carling here who's handsome. All right. Prince Tybalt of Burgundy. He has claims on the Kingdom of Burgundy. All right. Matrilineal marriage there will gain a key ally in the House of Stewart who could have some nice claims to the Kingdom of Burgundy down here. Might come in handy down the road. Looking now for a spouse for my son and heir. And I'm seeing here some really good ones. I don't think I want to betroth him to my niece. That's a little too close for comfort. However, I am looking at Hermelinda, who would bring in a duchy of Ancona alliance, as well as claims on the duchy of Ancona, Romagna, the counties of Fermo, Ancona, Bologna, and Casentio. That, I think, is a good one. Excellent. So I have a claim on the Inner Hebrides right here. So I think we're going to go ahead and press that claim. He's not a particularly powerful ruler. High Chieftain Goodfrieder, I guess it is. I can't read that stuff. Don't ask me to get it right. Okay. So let's go ahead and raise our army. We aren't going to call our allies on this one. I don't think we're going to need them. We should be able to take this pretty much without a fight. Looks like he does have an army that's laying siege over here. We may have to break off part of our force to go deal with him. We actually just started the siege, so maybe the thing to do here is to go defeat his army first. and then we'll worry about the siege. There we go. I inherited a rock crystal Latin necklace from my mother, who just passed away. Rip mother. Nope, stay here, please. Looks like my wife is also pregnant, so that's good. We finally have a second child on the way. And we can designate a guardian for my son, Christopher, and I think I'll do that myself. A daughter has been born. Let's name after an ancestor. Do we have any good? Adele. I like Adele. She's got some good music. Available perk. Let's go open-minded. The siege is taking a long time. And they keep attacking me, but to no avail. Alright. We've taken the territory. Enforced the demands. Disband the army. And we're still in the positive as far as finances go. We are above our domain limit, so I'll have to find someone I can pass this title on to. Yeah, I don't see any reason to imprison him. We have a couple of prisoners we can ransom, though. So, in the Duchy of Burgundy, we have this territory here, and I think that's the one that we're going to grant to someone in our family. I'm not entirely sure who we want to give it to, but we do have some options. In fact, I'm thinking about that cousin of mine in the dynasty that might be the place to go with this. He's of the house Stewart. He's actually got an earldom already, but he's 8 years old. He's actually got a little brother too. Can we grant him that title? We can. Excellent. That solves the problem. I actually have the ability to create the duchy title, the Isles. I control both counties in that. It'll cost me 250 gold. It gives me 300 prestige. Let's make it happen. New duchy title. You can see now Scotland is basically divided between what's left of the Kingdom of Alba. We've got Albany, and then there's Moray up there. So we just need to finish gobbling up what's left of Alba. There's one little part here, Linlithgowshire, that's controlled by the Kingdom of Ireland over here, which we'll have to go after at some point. I took Christopher out playing with a bow, and to my surprise, he ran into a wounded doe. When he showed me the animal, its wounds were evidence of a slow and torturous death. Christopher just smiled. You know, this is how serial killers get made, right? They start by torturing animals, they get a taste for it, and then they move on to people. Let's try and get rid of that. We can switch it to ambitious. It's going to give me some stress, but... Okay, I've been corresponding with your Chancellor, Mayor Uasal, and it's been a shameful diplomatic display. You are not the man I thought you were. Whatever, King of Alba, I'm coming for the rest of your titles anyway. Alright, we got to figure out a way to reduce our stress. I don't think getting drunk's the way to do it. Let's become contrite. We're being raided, not a huge deal. Alright, we can go after Alba and take Annandale. Might go ahead and do that. We're pretty similar in strength right now, though. He's got some powerful allies, Brittany and the Duchy of Lancaster, so that's probably not the way to go right now. My alliance with Duke Vela Martinez of Cantabria has ended. What happened? Holy cow, first of all, what is wrong with my sister? She got smallpox or something? She has the Great Pox. Well, that's bad. Why did he divorce her? They were betrothed, but something has happened. I don't know what's going on here. The Pope is calling a crusade. We'll give financially to it, but I'm not sending troops. Just too far away and just too many other things I want to focus on right now. Invited to a feast. All over my new shirt. Ah. Alright, so we do have some available fights we can get into here. We could seize the Outer Hebrides. He's pretty strong, though. Now, we could actually launch a holy war. We don't quite have the level of devotion to do it for the whole kingdom. We could go for the duchy there. Yeah. See, I really want to focus on Scotland, though. We can go after Annandale, but he's actually pretty strong still, so we're going to have to wait until situations change. I've gotten ill. I'm not that old. I'm only 32. Send for a physician now. We need a court physician. 75. Yeah, let's go for the best one that we can get at the moment. Safe treatment. Awesome. Looks like symptoms have been reduced. That's some good news. My soulmate has died. And she wasn't my wife, so just need to accept it. Stress does not help when I'm currently ill. In the meantime, though, I'm not too ill that I can't get my wife pregnant. With the babe cradled in her arms, Petty Queen Kraka looks up at me, her face surprisingly serene. My love, perhaps we should name her Kalek Finen, after your perceptive acquaintance? Sure. We'll let my wife pick that one. So my stress was getting super high. So I went to the brothel for relief, and now I have the lover's pox, the fire of love. So that kind of backfired. Not an ideal situation at all. I'm 35 years old now. I've got 3 children. I've got a son, an heir who's 14, so that's looking good. I've got a spare as well. Actually, I've got 2 daughters, so I don't really have an heir and a spare. My nephew, Duke Vela, and my cousin were taken prisoner by Queen Adele of Lotharingia after she won a battle. No, we're going to stay out of that for now. Has anything changed? Oh, it has. The King of Alba has lost his powerful ally. So now's our chance. Let's go ahead and declare war for that county. That'll help me take my focus off my lover's pox that I'm dealing with right now. So we'll raise our army. I don't think we're going to need any allies for this one, so we can save the prestige that we would otherwise spend on doing that. Forgive me, Kraka, I cannot share your bed like this. I don't want to give it to her. I guess it's happened either way. Let's go deal with the enemy army first. He's going to run. Of course he is. Alright, we'll go back, lay siege to Annandale. I took the king's son hostage. We're at 97%. Very nearly have already won the war. All we got to do is catch up to his army. If we can't do that, we just lay siege to another one of his territories, and that'll solve the problem. Alright, there it is. It went up. We'll enforce our demands. Slowly but surely, we are phasing the kingdom of Alba out of existence. We haven't been able to just lay claim to that kingdom itself, but we can at least get rid of it that way. We'll ransom him for a favor. The 20 gold just doesn't really do a lot for me. I have unlocked the trait Scholar, which got me this beautiful little crown that I'm wearing now. We've completed that entire line of perks now, so we can start focusing on some other things. We're finally at the place where we can usurp the kingdom of Alba. We've taken enough of the territory, so let's go ahead and do that. It's going to cost 500 gold. We'll gain 400 prestige. We now have a royal court because I've gone from being a petty king to an actual full-fledged kingdom now. Let them see their new king. Let's have royal court for the first time. Court artifacts that we can just place all over the place because I've got a ton of these things. I'm going to put the Stewart House banner up there. We'll hang some of the other banners we've taken along the way in some of these other places. We've got a Stewart Dynasty banner that we'll place right there. We'll put this book right there. Excalibur. We're going to have to get that repaired at some point. But all of this should... The skull of St. John the Evangelist on display. There's another skull. We like our skulls. So we're putting all this stuff on display. Oh, we have the Stone of Scone. Excellent. Very cool. Now, in order to increase the grandeur of our kingdom, a couple things we can do. We can change our court language if we want to, which we're going to keep it where it is. But we also can improve our fashion, which you can see how much it costs, but what it adds to us in terms of prestige and other things. We can improve the food that we're spending money on. We're going to go up a little bit on all this stuff, at least for now, and then we'll kind of go from there. We can't change it for the next 12 months. It's only going to cost me 0.8 per month. So now we have outmoded fashion, modest food, few servants, and small lodgings. That's ranking us 68th in the world in terms of the court. That's very cool. Eventually we'll have a much more prestigious court, but right now we just need to focus on consolidating power. Now we're actually going to go ahead and change the name to Scotland. We're going to change the map color to blue. Eventually we'll change the look of everything too. That's kind of purple, but it'll do for now. We'll change our flag to the St. Andrew's Cross at some point. All right, now we have the ability to offer vassalage to Lothian. Let's go ahead and do that. We may eventually get others as well. Bunch of available wars that we could start, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. Designate a guardian. My son can be a guardian to his sister. Now we have 2 more neighbors that can be vassalized, including the petty king of Moray. This is fantastic news. We're about to add a ton of territory. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Scotland is getting closer to being the Scotland that we know and love. So it looks like the Knights Templar would like a city in the northern part of Scotland. So they're going to give me 217 gold, and I'm going to lease to them the city of Gerloch. So that's going to go to them. Seems like a good deal to make. We're going to go ahead and hold court now. 1053 AD. Let's hear our petitioners. My vassal Mayor Uasal can barely contain her rage erupting. Something must be done about that Cumbrian outsider. I have quite enough of Duke Siwana and his ridiculous customs, nobly taking everything on the chin. So our nobility must be Gallic. Yeah, I think that probably makes sense, being Scottish. Let's see. Moray may mint its own coinage. We'll tell him yes, but he has to increase his feudal taxes to me. The man who approaches my throne is clearly a commoner. My lord, he begins, I represent the local community of Dunkeld. So it looks like somebody is basically using the dead for medical experimentation. Guards, arrest this grave robber. That'll cost me 200 prestige. Yeah, we have to keep the cemetery safe, though. Alright. My business here is done. Inspiration projects. Forge an axe. Yeah, let's go with that. We'll sponsor that. Excellent. Once again, we're in position to create a duchy. We have all 3 counties available to us to create Lothian. So let's go ahead and do that. It's another duchy we'll probably have to pass on to someone else. I'm looking at the available wars we can declare. So we've got this guy here, Ewen the Impaler of Lanarkshire. Let's gobble that up. It should be part of my realm anyway. We're going to declare war. This one's going to be really, really easy war to win. He just doesn't have much to compete with me over. So it's just a matter of marching in, taking the realm, and gobbling up the territory. Just like that. So we've just about got all of Scotland now. Looks like there's some fighting going on up here. That's not a huge deal. We've just got the barony of Linlithgow now. This guy, though, is sworn to the Irish. So at some point we're going to have to go to war with Ireland over that. Just taking a look at the family tree now. Here I am, King Christopher, 43 years old. We've got a son, Christopher, who's 22, and then a grandson also named Christopher. So that would end up being, well, I guess technically I'm Christopher the First of Scotland. We've also got over here my sister, Queen Eleonora, is the Queen of Leon, and she's got a son who is the Duke of Cantabria, and another son who right now is the heir to the Kingdom of Leon. Another sister, her children over here, they are French, and they're a part of a different house. So we need to think about marrying off my other daughters. This one is 9 years old now. We can marry her off to the King of Brittany. That might be interesting. In terms of alliance power, that's the best one. He does have other children already, so it's not like we'd be possibly in line to get the throne. And we couldn't make that a matrilineal match, which is what I'd like to do. Yeah, this guy's part of the House of Carling. That might be an interesting one to do. I think we'll wait. We've got a few years to worry about that, and we don't need the alliances right now. Now, my daughter Adele's a different story. She just turned 16. So we are in position to marry her off. I'm looking at prestige gain. And again, there's a difference if we go matrilineal, which I'm kind of in a position to do since I don't need the alliance so much. We've got Prince Hamlin of Lotharingia. He's an heir to a few counties, which would become part of House Stewart if we did that. So let's go that route. And that gets us an alliance now with Queen Adele of Lotharingia. So that's kind of cool. That worked out that she's got the same name as our daughter. Warren Language Manual has low durability. It's got 23 years to go. I'm not too worried about that right now. We have too many held duchies, so we're going to need to do something about the duchies that we currently have. Again, let's look at House Stewart and who is available that's part of my house that possibly this could go to. Now, these guys aren't part of the House of Stewart anymore. Aren't a lot of really good options at the moment. I think we'll hold off. There's a faction growing that wants to lower my crown authority. We're going to have to deal with it. Let's start with the ones who can easiest be swayed. Might take a little while, but we'll do that. In the meantime, this Duke here, I may be thinking about seeing if we can revoke his title. I don't know if that's even possible. Nah, not going to happen. So that's not an option. Well, no sooner had I attempted the sway, but they have made their demand. And so we've got a civil war that has broken out that we're going to have to deal with. I've got plenty of prestige available if I want to call some allies in. It might not be the worst thing to do, just because this is a pretty significant conflict that we're dealing with, and a lot of enemy forces there. So I think we'll go ahead and call some allies to this one. The Queen of Lotharingia, for sure. The Duke of Ancona. I think that should be enough. Alright, let's start going after these enemy armies. There's one right there that we can hit and pretty easily destroy. I'll split my forces up a little bit here, just because we're going to need to in order to pursue this guy effectively. Caught him. And I think half of my army should be more than enough to win the Battle of Lomond. One of our knights was killed. I need to check and make sure my son isn't involved in this conflict. Last thing we need is for him to die fighting. So let's take a look at our knights. Let's recruit this guy. Yeah, there's my son. We're going to forbid him from fighting. He's not really all that great of a fighter anyway. We actually got room for more knights, but I think we're good for now. Allied armies are starting to arrive. The Army of Luxembourg, 4,000 strong. A second Army of Luxembourg, also 4,000 strong. So that triples the size of my forces in Scotland. So we can kind of divide and conquer now. Let him go pursue some of the enemy armies while I start laying siege to some of the enemy territory so we can finish this thing off. Massive battle happening here. I've got to get in and get involved in it because the friendly forces are getting slaughtered right now. There we go. A couple of extra armies arrived and we turned the tide quickly in that one. That might be one of the largest battles I've ever seen fought in this game. 13,000 strong. We lost 520 killed. We killed almost 1,500. We still haven't won the war yet, though. Got a few things we have to do in order to make that happen. We'll go up and lay siege to the capital in Moray. That's where the others are going to. So now that I've gone there, some of my allied armies are actually pursuing the enemy. Okay, we've got another fight coming our way. The right to rule Scotland. Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to come. That's not happening either. So we've actually got a second civil war that just broke out. Not the worst thing in the world to have both of them happening at once, so I can use these same allies to deal with both of them. Alright, and the first one's over. Now we can go deal with the second one. We're going to probably have to call our allies to that one separately. I got plenty of prestige to do that. So not a huge deal. We do have to replace the guy that rebelled against us. So now we're going to call the allies that are already here to this new war. Thank you, thank you. Now we'll go after them. One last siege. Alright, and we've won. We didn't even have to finish that siege. So we'll enforce our demands here. So we've got a bunch of people in prison now. We've also got a bunch of available perks that we can assign. Well, we've got 2. Start working down this tree here for whole of body. So where do things stand? King Christopher is 47 years old. My heir, Prince Christopher, who's no longer a knight, so he doesn't look cool with the armor that he previously had, is my heir, my only son. We have a daughter here who's not quite married yet just because her betrothed is not of age. We've got another daughter we haven't married off yet. We've got all of Scotland except for this little piece belonging to the King of Ireland. And then Ulster owns this one up here. So it looks like this is where we're going to be focused on in the next episode as we continue to consolidate things. Good amount of prestige, decent amount of piety. Things are looking good as they have. Let's back up and look at the world map now. Italy, the Papal States own a lot of the Italian boot. Aquitaine's pretty large. France, Brittany, Burgundy. Those are kind of the immediate folks I need to focus on. You can see Finland there. All the way over to Africa and to the Indian subcontinent. Pretty interesting stuff. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Hit that like button if you would. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.